Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in tonight. My name is Jenna, and I have a really special guest with me. His name is Kevin Smith, and he is the founder of a charity project called Freedom to Learn International. Hey, Kevin, welcome.
Hi, Jenna. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Listen, I have been looking forward to talking to you, actually in person, well, close to it, right?
Mm.
We have been talking on, Twitter, on social media, and in Discord for the past couple days. And, I have been learning so much about you and what you're doing. So please, Kevin, if you could introduce yourself to everyone and explain how you got involved with helping to educate children in Cambodia and what you were working on.
Sure. Thank you so much again for everything that you've done so far, and to Jeremy as well for connecting us.
Yes.
So I first came to Cambodia in 2016. Just a very last minute short trip with a friend. I think he asked me on a Thursday if I wanted to come, and we were here by the Sunday. So it was, you know, and then the first thing that you do really when you come here is you visit the Genocide Museum and the what they call the killing fields, and it's just so humbling to learn of the history here. It's they obviously I can't tell how much the viewers know about the Khmer Rouge, but it was a devastating time for this country. Very, very recent history. It finished in 1979. That sort of, I don't think there's any other country with that sort of recent history on that sort of scale,
It was, you recommended, I watched this movie, and I believe it was produced by Angelina Jolie, called First They Killed My Father. And I had to stop at the one night. Like, I was, it's hard to hold back the tears. But you said, even with this movie, they didn't show the really, really horrible parts. And it was
Mm.
still, but I mean, anyone who would like to learn the history of, I think it's a great movie to watch, a really great one.
It is. It is. Like she did a really good job with that. She's one of very few celebrities that's ever visited, so she's massive here with the locals, and I believe she adopted a couple as well while she was out here. But yeah, so I mean, having seen the history that and everything that had gone through, you would expect. Well, you wouldn't expect the people to be so warm, kind, welcoming, brave, and strong. With so much fight in them, and that's what I found coming out of the museums and spending time here. And I was literally back within a month after coming from my first week. I had to come back. I had to see the country, more of the country, explored more. Within a year, I was living here, and I had a girlfriend, and we ended up adopting her niece, my now daughter, and I started to teach her to speak English, and develop, saw her strengths and weaknesses, saw ways I could improve on that. I passed. I got my TEFL certificate, which is teaching English as a second language or as a foreign language, so I could help her more and put her through a proper school. And then I realized, hang on, I'm good at this. So started teaching more children in the family and friends of the family, and it just sort of grew from there. And now I just anybody that needs it, if I've got the time, I will help.
So
It's
Before we get into what you're doing on what you want to do on a larger scale, can you give us an idea of what daily life is like for these kids and why what you're doing is so important?
Yeah. So education here is really difficult for them to access. The for a start, um, the free education in the sort of that's available is very uninspiring, very basic. It's all in Khmer. They don't learn any sort of foreign languages that they quite frankly need in a city like this. You know, they're doing a good job, sort of bringing the city up. You know, based on the history, but um, the education system's way behind, way behind. So there's so many challenges within that. I mean, 10% of the children in the country don't go to school whatsoever, and this is where the statistics start getting really kind of harsh. Nearly 50% of children in Cambodia are commercialized, which means they're making money of some sort in some way through employment or other methods that um, you know you just wouldn't want a child to be going through. And um, that's where the challenge that comes in for schools um, like ours, or any sort of outreach program, because you go and speak to these families, and quite typically the child is the main source of income for the family, or a source of income for the family. So it's not, you're not walking in there as some sort of I don't want to use the word the word hero or anything, but you're not walking in there some sort of savior. Oh my God, we're giving you free school, we're going to really change your child's life. You're going in there as a pain in the butt to the family, because you're taking away their source of income. They don't want you to go and change that situation. You have to battle with them. You have to really push that. Sending your child to go work and scavenge on the dumps at 6 years old is not in theirs or your family's future's best interest. Sending your child to go and beg in the tourist areas, and high risk and endeavor for them to do, is you know it's not helping your family later on. You're going to have to keep doing that day after day after day. You're going to have to keep having more children, because that's what happens. It's a horrid thing to say, but that's what actually happens. Children grow up, they no longer effective in the begging game, and
You
it's
Well, Kevin, on that, you mentioned something to me about these kids, and their families, and I think a lot of people can use their imagination to understand, things that we are working to pull these kids out of, that are very bad, and it's either starve for these families. They can either starve or become a victim, and
absolutely.
I can imagine how difficult it is for you to be able to go into these, and talk with these families and have these really hard conversations. And, what a hard place that has to be, because, you know, you can't necessarily empathize with what they're doing, but you have to do this in a really certain way, I would imagine. And
Yeah,
keep your
it's very tough,
yeah.
because whilst they're doing something, and in some cases they're doing something that's deeply against what
Uh,
what your that goes deeply against your moral values and just your decency values. um, but at the same time, you have to get to a point where um, you understand what their position is, because it's do I watch my child starve, or do I send them out to do this work?
So with a lot of this too, okay, we're gonna get into uh short-term goals for the project, long-term ones. I want to get to a point where we can break it down with how much is needed per kid, what we're trying to do first. Because I believe you also mentioned whenever you're talking to these families, it's almost like negotiating, but I would imagine that you have to let them know they're going to also financially benefit from this as well. So, some money would be going towards that family. Am I correct with that
Yeah,
too? To be able
yeah,
to
we
kids.
we will in some cases have to assist the families too, whether that's just general aid, food, clothes, and a little bit of money, or whether that's a monthly, keep your skin in cool, keep your kid in school grant.
Okay.
Um, it depends on the situation. Everything has to be played by ear, and intakes are going to be assessed very, very carefully on a per individual basis. There's some kids we want to absolutely help them all. There's one I've already told you about that's happening right now,
Yeah.
that's in a situation right now.
Which are
That
you allowed to mention? So guys, there's a reason why also Kevin is definitely choosing his words and like everything he says. He's being, very respectful of that. And I want to also be respectful as well. Can you just let everyone know one where you're teaching at and the situation that's going on right now and how much would be needed to help this little girl that you've told me about while we're working on the rest of the project?
yeah, whilst I'm getting the project set up, I've been sort of doing some basic outreach, as we've just sort of been discussing, and part of that has also been to with my family who are helping me with this, has been to go to the local orphanages, and there's two that we've been dealing with. One is a friend of a friend that is the manager there, and another one is who she's put us in contact with. And they just had this sort of 2 days ago. I think it was 2 days ago. I messaged you. I messaged you pretty much straight away about it. Um, it's. I think it's going to be the sort of cookie cutter copy and paste situation I'm going to get daily. To be honest, when this kicks off, young girl. I think she's 8, coming on 9 years old. Um, they don't have space for her. They just don't. And we've looked at other orphanages. They don't have space for her. She's come from. I don't particularly want to discuss specifics of what's happened to her or what she's been doing. But it's she's not had a good start, and so we're trying to find somewhere for her to go because of the history of it. I'd have my arms wide open, say, we'll find somewhere. We've got a small little condo, but I'll find somewhere. But because of the history, it's a high risk situation. I can't take her in myself personally. So I've spoken to my family. They could take her in, but my family have sort of gone through a lot themselves recently. They're way behind financially, so they can't just take her on either. So it's a case of and also in order to do a temporary foster order here, you need to show proof of funds and a budget plan if you haven't fostered before in order to process it. So we need a little drop of money and proof of it in order for me to be able to put her into somewhere temporarily until we've opened the school, basically.
So how much is that drop temporarily to be able to help this kiddo out?
I'm guesstimating. It depends on the school we put her in and can put her in. If there's, I haven't found out yet because it's literally 2 days ago. So apologies if I'm a little bit unprepared on that. If I can get her into one of the local free schools, which isn't great. I mean, that's what this whole project is about fixing. But temporarily, if I can get her into a local free school, because again, part of the conditions of fostering is education, then we're talking about $1,000 for we need to prove for 6 months. If we need to put her into a private school, then cost of that is going to roughly double the
So like
target, so around $2,000
for
for this
6 months.
one girl for 6 months. That's to prove we've got the funds to look after this girl for 6 months. We probably won't need to spend that much. We need to prove that much on paper before the foster order can be processed.
Well, I'm
But yeah,
personally going to help with that too. And just with that, I want to let everyone know you do have on Freedom to Learn International. I did post the link down below. But we can donate an XRP. I think you have like a Zoom wallet
sure.
or an XRP address set up. So I don't know how long it takes you to cash that out, but I definitely will, and I'm sure we can
It's
grab up some others to help.
with the website, it's all hooked up with how do you say it? XUM,
Some,
XUMM, XUM.
yeah.
Yeah, it's directly linked up with that. It's just a typical store checkout. You type in the amount you want to donate, add it to cart, go through a XUM checkout, and bang, it's done. As far as we're concerned, all my money from the UK gets sent into Cambodia via XRP, and it's instant. Cash out instant. It's that's the technology we're dealing with. I think that's why we're fans in the first place.
Exactly. And this is when you said though, like in this in between phase, this is when kids are the most vulnerable, right?
Yeah, so we've got 2 to 3 days that the orphanage can keep her, and it's not great conditions either in that time. I mean, they do their best,
Sure.
but they're working on a Khmer budget. Is the best way of putting it. They're it's not it's not a comfortable environment for anybody.
Sure.
But it's more comfortable because it's if she's sent back to her gran and her uncle, because that's who she was living with before, her gran and her uncle. It's just the cycle's going to repeat.
Right.
She's going to go back. I mean, this has happened before for her. She's been rescued before, and then there was no place for her in the system, and this is often the most difficult period. And this is where a lot of our outreach is going to be focused on these particular kids falling through the cracks. Her gran and her uncle are just going to send her back to doing the same thing, no matter what is said to them. That's what's going to happen. She will end up running away again, and then she'll end up getting brought back into the system. So I just want to
try to break that system. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know I'm not going to be able to say yes to every little kid that passes. I'm going to be getting these calls. I'm in the network now, and I'm probably going to be more exposed to that as time goes on. So I'm going to get these calls all the time, and I will want to help them all, but there's going to be times when we can't. So, and it's not just started happening now because I'm starting to learn about it now. This has been going on for a long time. Cambodia itself has. I want to make it sort of really a clear picture on the environment. Cambodia's done a brilliant job. in the past 10 years of fixing a lot of these problems. Just hasn't done enough yet, I think is the way of putting it. And I don't think these are one of those problems you can fix overnight, you know. But it used to be a lot worse.
And okay, so let's talk about short-term goals. What are you trying to accomplish now? On what scale? How many kids? Give us an idea of money, paint us a picture. What is your plan?
Okay, so short term, um, I've already designed a curriculum that's based on the UK Cambridge primary curriculum, and I'll be delivering that bilingually in Khmer and English. Sorry, excuse me. One of the they were told, "Stay where you are or be tied up and put on the balcony," and they decided against that.
You can't say that.
I'm joking. I'm joking. So yeah, delivered bilingually in English and Khmer. And then, sorry, I've been thrown off a bit there. So yeah, it's been designed to be delivered bilingually in English and Khmer. Full spectrum curriculum. So instead of just Khmer, instead of just English and the languages, they'll be learning the full subject range. So history, geography, math, science. The full impact curriculum, because currently the curriculum is very, very basic, even for private education kids. On the lower end of the private schools, it's just English as a second language and the national curriculum. So that's been designed to level up basically and give them an equal education to what I went through as a kid. I'm sure you went through as a kid, you know, and we want to provide those as free scholarships. And, you know, again, it's rough estimates based on.
Oh, I think you froze.
We're still here. Hello.
Oh yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. Had a connectivity issue. We're good.
Okay. So yeah, sorry, the connection here can be a little finicky. We had that's why I was a little bit late. I do apologize to everybody.
Oh no, that's okay. Mine tricks out sometimes too.
Where did you lose me?
Just go ahead like the past minute. Like I got to you were talking about us having the same education, you wanted to give that to them.
Sure. Okay.
So we're working on.
So yeah, the rough calculations for costs depends on whether the child is staying with us as a boarding student or whether they're traveling in every day. And a lot of the long distance children, like in the provinces and whatnot, they're going to need to stay here. It's not realistic for them to travel every day. So the children that will travel in, we've roughly estimated around $250 per month per child. And those that are staying with us obviously require us to employ somebody to look after them in the evenings and mornings. We're looking at around $370 per month per child, all told, for food and supervision. And we want to initially get up to 25 children, so we've got at least one full class, and then work from there. Once we've got that solid, secure, funded for a year,
Okay.
then we can start thinking what the next short-term step is. But the
So
first,
you're telling me honestly, so we could help 25 children for $10,000 a year. Did I get
I,
that math right? Because I
I
got,
don't,
okay,
I don't think you did. No,
wait, no. That would be per month. Okay, so wait, 370 a month per child, right? Is that what you
if,
said for
if they're
boarding?
staying, yeah.
Okay. 370 a month per child. Okay, so 4,444 if they're boarding per child. Okay, that makes more sense. Times, okay, let's see if we get up to 25. So $111,000 essentially is what it would cost to board and educate 25 children for a year.
If they were all staying, I don't think they
They're all
will. We're going to have to manage intake. But if they're all staying, then that would be the case. Yeah. But I'd imagine it'd be half and half
okay.
out of those numbers.
Otherwise, 3,000 times 25. Okay, so anywhere between 75,000 to 111K is what our goal is to raise for a
For
year.
the first year, yes.
Right. Cool.
Um, as we want to expand, any overreach on that, if we overachieve on the mission, great. It gives us some breathing room. It gives us areas where we can easily quickly expand into, like other age groups, other classes. We can run more than one teacher. And one assistant. There's lots of different things we can do. The more kids we can help, the better.
Sure.
Um, you know, but baby steps at first.
Yeah.
We want to get this first classroom sorted. We want to get the model right, because what I don't want to do is only raise enough to secure it for 3 months or 6 months.
No.
Then we essentially become part of the problem if we just provide them a 3-month education and no, sorry, you need to go back
Yeah,
to
that
like leading before.
that can't happen. So now let's say if we don't and we can't raise that much, and let's say we can raise enough for 10 kids, the place that you're looking at, do you have a spot in mind that you found to rent out?
Yeah, it's ideal. It's actually part of the building I'm in now. It's
Okay.
amazing. The lower level has because of the COVID pandemic, um, what was supposed to be a lower 2 floors full of businesses and offices completely empty, so we can get a really good rate on almost perfectly designed for a classroom offices.
Mhm.
There's a in-building Khmer restaurant that can be the canteen. Again, they get no business,
Mhm.
so we've already sort of got very good rates with them,
Okay.
agreed for providing the food for the children. There's
Okay.
a gym, swimming pool, playground. It's got everything set up for a school, and then as far as for the kids that are boarding, we can rent here too. And it's all perfect place. It's ideal.
Awesome. So I can't help it. This makes me cry. I love what you're doing so much. I'm such a baby. I have a heart for this stuff and I have a heart for kids and I want to make an impact as much as we can on the biggest scale possible. And I know that the XRP army is definitely going to have our backs and help us out with this. And it's like what they want to see is that we have a plan and they want to be able to see, of course, where the funds are going. And I think that's one of the best things about being able to use blockchain. You know what I mean?
Yep,
And you can be very, very transparent with things. And I think that that's
absolutely.
huge. But I love what you're doing. Even if it was, we get enough to help 10 kids to start and put that for a year and keep things going. What I do want to mention to everyone is Kevin and I have come up with an idea and we pitched it to Kai, who is the founder of XPUNKS. And he and his team are building us out a platform, like a special platform, because, Kevin was like, do you think that there's a way that we could have one NFT and people could enter in different prices, right? Because people can afford to donate different amounts. And so Kai was like, you know what? What if we do 5 different images and the kids are hand drawing them? And he's like, there will be different amounts that you can choose what you want to pay for these NFTs, but there's 5 of them that the children drew. And basically there's unlimited quantities of them, but he's built us out a special platform for this. They're not taking any fees and they're doing all of this so that they can help with freedom to learn as well. So we are so grateful for them. That should be coming soon. We don't have an exact date on that yet. If you go to, I'm going to show your website really quick, Kevin, because I saw that
Sure.
you just updated that. Let me add this in. Okay. freedomtolearninternational.com is the website. Kevin made a tab that says the NFTs. You can go here to learn more. Also, guys, I created Kevin a channel in my Discord, and I will post my Discord link. But you can hop in there and talk to him about freedom to learn, literally at any point in time. And ask him questions and everything like that. Your target opening day, 79 days. I love that you have a goal on this. I don't know why, for some reason. Oh, here we go. Okay. Our NFT collection, drawings from the children. This is one of them. They just created this, just a couple days ago, Kevin, the
Yeah,
panda.
yeah, absolutely. All in
They,
the last few days.
they've named the collections. There's Sophia the bunny. There's Buddy the monkey. And I don't think we have it set up yet, right? Do
That,
we?
that just takes them straight to onxrp.com because we don't have a link yet to the platform.
Okay,
But
perfect. So even if you want to donate now, you're more than welcome to, because we can see the address and we can issue you an NFT later. If you want to help us out now before the platform is ready. But
and then
this,
that's the final our logo. And
yeah.
Suken, I actually have one of the prototypes in hand.
I love that you made these, you digitized them for them. So
Yeah,
um,
using AI as well. It's like an AI photo scanner. It's great.
oh really?
Mm.
Oh, cool. See, I'm just learning all of this stuff. I'm a little behind with all the AI and everything, but this is great. And I think that you mentioned before, even possibly some like one of ones or special
Yeah,
ones.
I think um, the NFT collection that we've done here, it's just a basic. It's not like the typical NFT collection where you've got different glasses, different features, and all jumbled up and 1,000 produced at the end. So I think we've got some scope to expand on it later on, depending on how this one goes down. But yeah, we can do one of ones. We can do more limited runs. We can do a lot of different things. The kids are really excited about doing more drawings as well. They really want to get involved. So yeah, let's.
That's awesome. So, guys, like what we're going to do, we're going to keep updating you with things that are going on with this project. I'm in it with you, Kevin. Like I want to do all I can to help with the platform that I have, and I personally want to go there and help. I wish I could take all the babies. I really do.
You're welcome to come along anytime. You and anybody in the XRP community can come along and help.
I just
Definitely need it.
I appreciate what you're doing. I think a lot of others do, and you know, it takes a special person with that kind of drive and motivation and just empathy for others to, do this. And I think we all come together, we can accomplish some really great things. So
Yeah, I really, I'm very excited, very grateful to you, to Jeremy Hogan as well, who linked us together, to Cadge at on XRP for helping. I'm overwhelmed at the response and just so excited about what we can do to make a difference here. It really will. It's not just giving education. This is literally uh, changing life course.
Right.
It's plucking them off of this timeline and putting them onto this
Right.
better timeline, and just giving them. And it's another thing I think is important to understand. You know, we talk about generational wealth in our community
Mhm.
all the time. You know, buy 1,000 XRP now, your great grandkids are going to thank you for it. In this situation, this is generational change. You know, and for not a lot of money. I know combined it is, but on a per child basis, giving them an education changes their future, changes their children's future, and so on. And it's just it's mega.
It really is. And Gary Gensler, I hope you're listening to this because you are really holding us back right now from making like a hell of a change in the world. So I just want you to know that, dude. Like we
Yeah,
need 40 cent XRP right now. We want to make a change.
I don't think I should use the language I want to use to describe
Mm,
that man.
right.
But again, that's from a community point of view. That's um, another reason why I've come to the XRP community for support of this. It's an odd mix, but I've been part of this community for 5 or 6 years now. I've been part of the uproar against the SEC and Gary Gensler. I was part of the crew that was hopeful for Gary Gensler.
I was too.
I thought he was going to come in and make things better. But it's almost like it was set up for him in the start. But I know the fight this community have, and we've gone through so much negative in the past 2 years. This to me would just be such a perfect way to put a stamp on that, and say no, that doesn't define what the XRP community is about, because we get a lot of flack because of one or two bad actors as well. You know, I mean, a good example is this the Cardano guy. You know,
Charles, you know what? Maybe Charles can make it up to the XRP army by doing some philanthropy work for
yeah,
us.
well, the donation page is open.
He's actually a cool guy. He is. I got to meet him on space. He's actually a cool person.
He does seem it, and that's why I was surprised. I was surprised on that, but
Yeah, just a
um,
little troll.
yeah, we can't all agree on the same things every time.
Right. Exactly. Um, Anything that you want to leave us with tonight, other than the fact that, guys, if you want to come learn more, like I said, pop in my Discord. I'll drop the link. Kevin's in there with his channel. You know, feel free. We're gonna keep blasting this. I mean, we're gonna be shouting it from the rooftops. And I know, obviously, once we're not in such a bear market, we'll also be able to make more of an impact. But I'm hoping that enough people see this, and maybe we can just at least get this little girl some help.
Mm.
Um, Maybe at least get her help first. So, there you go.
I
Again,
hope so. It's that I think that's the most difficult part of this whole project is there's going to be lots of these stories,
yeah,
and you know, mental preparation is going to have to be because I can't I think I'm very much the same as yourself, Jenna. It hits me quite harsh, and I have to try and help.
sure. And I think that with what you're doing, the education, yes, is important. However, I think that's why it's really important that we network with other projects like that I told you about, like Operation
Mm.
Greenlight and others, where they actually help to provide restorative services to these kids, which is super important. And I think the help that they need goes beyond just education and, food. And you need a mentor, you need help, you need therapy, you need a lot of different things. And, so that's the education is just half the battle. So it's like, there's a lot of work because they've gone through a lot of trauma. And I think that, we need to understand that. So I want to be able to grow this to where we have those resources for these kids.
I think one thing that I didn't mention was the eventual long-term goals of the
Yeah.
project, and that is, um, once we've had this initial intake, however large that is, whether we help 10 kids in the first instance or 25, we can make it work. What I want to then move on to is making sure the curriculum is that desirable, that good and desirable for more affluent parents to want to pay for their children to attend our school. So eventually we become self-reliant, and we can fund scholarships on a one-to-one basis. So for every child that pays, we can provide one scholarship to another. That's the eventual aim. And then once we've got to a point where we're self-sufficient, we can then start helping others that, like, particularly maybe standout teachers that want to get more involved. They can go into a province and set up a satellite school using our system, and that way we can reach we can get into the harder to reach areas, because in the city it's easier to find cases that need help, but when you get further out, it's just villages of kids that have no school, and they're just working with the family's business or whatever. It's not as The realities of it aren't as harsh in the provinces, but they're still not hopeful.
Right. Right.
You
And it's like we can't save everyone, and I get that and I understand, but it's these baby steps, it's taking this initiative and even just making a difference in, a couple kids' lives to get started, is huge. And it will.
Yeah, and sorry, there's a lag on the connection there, Jenna. I don't mean to
Oh,
overtalk.
you're fine. Go ahead.
I think it's just snowball effect as well, because what you often find, looking at other programs like this, what you often find is these children that come out of the program then go back and help other projects similar to one that they were in. They give back. So yeah, I think it's just a case of everybody that can doing their part, and that's where I feel an obligation. I've come to this country. I've lived here for 6 years. They've welcomed me with open arms, and I just feel, I can't just watch.
Right. How could
You know,
you? I think that would be so hard. And if you have the ability to try to make a difference, then I think then you should. So I appreciate what you're doing a
I
lot.
appreciate your help on it as well. Thank you. It wouldn't be happening, I don't think, if you guys weren't assisting,
Well,
being the driving force in your case.
we're just getting started, and don't worry, I have a big mouth, so I will be sure to tell everybody. And I think once more projects get involved, maybe they'll collab with us, team up. But we just have a lot of great people around. But this is just where we start. We have to raise awareness to what's going on because so many people don't think about it. And you mentioned to me that when you hopped on a plane and went to Cambodia, and once you saw their
Yeah,
problems, your own became so small. And I kind
absolutely.
of think about that.
I left the UK. One of the reasons my friend grabbed me and said, "Come to Cambodia on Sunday." I was going through a lot of what I felt at the time was serious issues, with my family, and so I just came for a break. I was working in the music industry as well at the time. I'd just come off tour with The Darkness, and life was just hectic.
Hmm.
Uh, Came here, and after 2 days, completely different mentality. All those problems were insignificant. You learn what real problems are. They still affected my life in the same way that they did, but they just didn't affect me mentally on anywhere near a similar level. It was this. I hate to use the term first world problems,
Yeah, but
but I first world problems myself in under 2 days, and it's this whole new reality sort of kicked in, and I fell in love with this country very, very quickly, just because of the sheer courage that they have on a day to day. They just the stuff that they go through, even outside of the Khmer Rouge, outside of being a serious economic disadvantage already. To some of if they simply need um, healthcare, it's just not available.
Mhm.
Without getting into massive debt or having serious problems, just so they don't get healthcare a lot of the time.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, you realise how good we have it sometimes, seeing how they live.
I understand. Well, actually, I can't fully understand because I'm not there and living through that, but I I get it. I get what you're saying. So, guys, you have our links. You have the link to Freedom to Learn International that I just posted. You have my Discord so you can talk to Kevin some more. We are launching on XRP.com. So you better pick up one of these really awesome NFTs. Like we said, there's the pandas, the logos, they have all kinds of cute things, cute little bunny on there. But either way, sure to make your day and help make a kiddo's life a little bit better. So, all right, Kevin, anything else you want to leave us with today? And otherwise, you and I are just going to be, spreading our word everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, definitely get everyone to join your Telegram, your Discord group. It's been great on there. Everybody in there has been awesome.
They're all good people.
Yeah, and it's one of those Discord groups you can't put down. You know.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kevin. And I look forward to speaking to you again soon. You are obviously welcome to be on here anytime to give us updates on the project. Would love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.